Usually when I make a dedicated video on a piece of media, it's on something that's abhorrent, just something that I really enjoy making fun of because it's bad. It's pretty rare that I'll do one where I'm just kind of glazing something, but that's exactly what today is. There's a show that's airing right now called Shogun, and it doesn't seem to be getting the buzz that I feel it deserves given how high quality the production is. It seems to be going under a lot of people's radars, so I just want to dick ride this harder than Ian Miles Chong meet swallows Elon Musk on Twitter, because I think the show deserves the praise. The only reason I've heard about it is because I've had a few friends that are actively watching it and constantly preaching the gospel about how good it is, and I've seen two articles written about it, and both compared it to Game of Thrones before it got shitty. They compared it to early Game of Thrones, and that's also pretty high praise, so I decided to take the plunge and watch it, and I'm blown away. I am absolutely stunned by how great this show is. Now, I'll go ahead and be honest here. I'll be more open than goatsy for a moment. I do have a big bias for this era that Shogun takes place in. Whether it be video game, movie, TV show, any of it, I just find this period of history fascinating. So anything that takes place in it, I just have a soft spot for. But even if you hate samurai and you hate this setting, I still think you're going to love the presentation here. The visuals are stunning. Like, the set design is breathtaking, unbelievable. It really does feel like you've been transported back in time. All of it is impressive in the scale. And not only are the sets incredible, the costumes are as well. It feels like they really went all out to capture this period as true as they possibly could make it. Now, of course, I didn't live through the era, so I don't know exactly what it looked like back then, but this is how I imagine it. If I did live back then, I'm sure I would have died very quickly into my life. I would have had my head sliced clean off my shoulders for some disrespectful shenanigans I would have found myself in. But this really does just feel so authentic. From the very first episode, I was hooked. I was sold. Not only is everything beautiful, but it's really well written. Now, I do want to just, before moving on to the writing, harp on just how good the show looks. Let's take Rings of Power, for instance, the billion-dollar Amazon super stinker that disrespects everything to do with Tolkien's work. This feels like what $1 billion would get you. Not that. To me, this would be the gold standard of like a big, massive budget television show. Nothing feels like it's cheaply made. It doesn't feel like they cut any corners. It really feels like they gave their VFX department and their entire team ample time to create something spectacular, something truly special. It feels like actual passion and soul put into this show. They had a story to tell, and they wanted to tell it the best that it could possibly be and have it look the best that our current human technology will allow us to make it. It is so fucking good. So now, shifting gears into the narrative and the overall writing, the characters are immediately interesting, and they set up this very intricate set of character relationships early on. This is also somewhat of a minor complaint here, but they do introduce so many characters pretty quickly that it's easy to lose track of them early on because there's just so many moving pieces to this world they're bringing you into. And I don't think there's any way they could have done that better or anything, but it is something worth mentioning that it might be a little hard to keep track of everyone early on because there is a lot going on right away. But I actually really like that because it shows that there is a deep world that they are bringing you into, that there's a lot of pieces on this chessboard that are coming into the fold now. And just like when I checkmated XQC in 6 moves, this show will checkmate your attention span in 6 minutes. I was, like I said, immediately drawn into this and pretty hooked on it because it does such a great job of getting you to care. Like right away. At least I think it will. I don't know who would necessarily be turned off by the narrative of this show because it lends itself well for pretty much anyone of any taste. If you're someone who just likes some good action, shit, Shogun's got it in droves, and it's sword fighting. Let's be honest, who doesn't like sword fighting? You know, I know it's become a little bit of a cruel meme in modern times, you know, studying the blade teleports behind you, sorry kid, fedora tip type shit. But this is the cool sword fighting stuff, you know, bloody heads coming off of shoulders type shit, gore out the wazoo. It's cool. Like, I think it's really cool. And if you're someone who doesn't really care about action, if you're someone who wants more of like a deep, well-crafted lore, this absolutely has that too. It's a very interesting dynamic here with all of these different people struggling during this power vacuum that they're experiencing now since the passing of the last shogun. So it's very well done in pretty much everything that it aims to do. I really think this show is a banger. I think the show slaps hard. So I just wanted to make this real quick and just kiss it on the lips here because I do think this show is absolutely worth watching. And hopefully we can get more shows like this because it really does evoke the same feelings of watching something like an early Game of Thrones where it's like, damn, this is extremely well done. Yeah, I feel like it's been a while since we've had a show to that level, and Shogun is finally here to say, like, hey, we can still do this. Just reminding us that we still have the capability to make shit that's this fire. So yeah, I think Shogun is amazing. Highly recommend it. That's really about it. See ya.